everybody, and welcome to AP on Play. My name is Anjali Prasad, and I'm hosting this program. I'm an attorney here in town, and I try to pick a variety of guests to educate the audience on policy or law or social issues. And this morning, I've asked Jennifer to sit with us for a while. Jennifer works on the Roosevelt Elementary campaign, and some of you might have seen my program last summer. Roosevelt Elementary School is in Keego Harbor. I went there. I was a fourth grader at Roosevelt Elementary School. That was when it was a magnet program. And now there's a lot of fighting and litigation and turmoil involving this school. So I've asked Jennifer to sit with us, tell us what she does to save Roosevelt Elementary School. And without further ado, here we are. Jennifer, please introduce yourself to the audience.
I'm Jennifer Vasquez. I am the founder and president of the Heart of the Lakes Community Nonprofit.
Okay, Heart of the Lakes. So we were talking off camera, but tell us about Heart of the Lakes nonprofit.
So Heart of the Lakes nonprofit is a nonprofit that I created essentially to help secure Roosevelt, to serve the community. So when I first started the nonprofit, it was really to try and gain some access to the building to serve the community. I modeled the nonprofit off of Micah 6 in Pontiac. It's a community development corporation. And so there's a lot of articles of incorporation that go into creating a nonprofit. And this is one of the articles of incorporation for Heart of the Lakes nonprofit.
And I have to hand it to you. When I hear that somebody creates a nonprofit, I think, whoa, that's a lot of work. So just before we go any further, I have to tell you, I think that's incredibly impressive because I know there's bylaws and tax implications, and this is not an easy endeavor. So on behalf of Roosevelt, I'm sure everybody is appreciative of this.
Thank you.
So what is happening? What's the current state of affairs with the elementary school?
So unfortunately, the current state of affairs is the plan from West Bloomfield School District is to continue on with demolition.
And why do they want to demolish this building?
So we don't really quite understand why they would just choose demolition, because now there are some practical reasons behind it that they have. However, just like anything else, there's options. So their main reason from the beginning has been that we don't want a private school to take the building and use it, to serve for other educational purposes. So there's this huge fear of a charter school moving in. But and there's a law out there that's 5025, some act to prevent a deed restriction to support like a charter school, buying a building and then using it, and then no one can say you can't use it for a charter school. The thing is that this school is so big.
It's
that
big.
The amount of students to fill and be profitable would have to be somewhere around 300 students. And we've brought on people to try and say, like, hey, is this viable? Would this ever really be a charter school? Well, first of all, no charter schools have came forward, or no one representing an organization has said, we have interest in this school.
Right. No
one has said that. And we've found developers that are interested in making it into housing. There's been no evidence to support that a charter school would want this building.
So is that, in your opinion, is that the single reason why who's running this operation? Is it the City Council of Keego Harbor or West Bloomfield, or who's driving the train to demolish?
The West Bloomfield School District Board of Education.
Okay, right, the West Bloomfield School District. Okay.
So back when this started, long time ago, quite honestly, I think there was talks about it way back in I want to say 2016. I'm going to start there only because that's as far back as I can remember. My kids went to school there at that time. I did not live in the district, so I wasn't so involved in what was happening with bonds and millages and things like that. But there was a bond that was passed to support maintenance and renovations of Roosevelt. People came out and supported that because they were like, good, they want to save this building. They want to continue using it.
And the kids were still in school there.
Oh, yeah.
So this was a functional school until very recently, until maybe COVID or?
Yeah, so it's functional up until June 2022.
Oh, so past COVID. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Kids were in the building very shortly prior to its closure.
And the kids that were there, where are they now? The students?
So the students that were attending Roosevelt were transitioned to the old Abbott building, which they then renamed Roosevelt. And they finished out the next year as Roosevelt. And then they went into this whole redistricting plan. They split up the Kego kids so that half of them, the north side went to, and I want to say it correctly, the north side went to Gretschko and the south side now go to, I believe it's Scotch.
Oh, yes, Scotch.
And then the kids that went to Chico are bussed in to the old Abbott.
Okay, so let me just get this straight. So now the Kego Harbor students have been split up and are going to several different schools in the area.
Yeah.
In lieu of sending them all to Roosevelt.
Yes.
Okay.
Or even Chico.
Or
which
even
is
Chico.
the next
Yeah, even
closest
Chico.
building.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
The old Abbott. There's a lot of transitions that have taken place. I moved here in June of 2022. So I literally dropped my stuff in my new home and then found out that the school across the street is going to be closing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? No. I mean, we
it's such a...
We could walk
Roosevelt
there.
is such a special school. And, when you look at the front, it's just so majestic. I don't know if there's any elementary schools in the area that can compete with it architecturally.
Oh, no. No, it's a historical building.
I was going to say, I didn't think you could demolish historical buildings.
Because it doesn't have the designation.
Oh,
okay. And rightfully, it should be the owners of the building that pursue the designation.
Mm-hmm.
The community can do that. However, it's going to take some time.
Are you pursuing the designation?
We've looked into it,
Okay.
and the process is a little lengthy.
Yeah.
But I don't think it would hurt.
Yes.
The problem is that there's only so much that people can do.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a lot of energy and a lot of time to do what we're doing. So then to add on other tasks that support what we're doing, we can, try and spread that out. But at the end of the day, it's just people have lives and they have lots of things to do.
And you guys have done a lot of fundraising, I know.
We have.
What kind of fundraisers have you done?
We put on Rocking for Roosevelt in, I believe that was June or July of last year, which was really fun. We did a silent auction. We had a live band, the Bugs Beddoes band. So that raised us quite a bit of money. We're also doing, all the time, we're raising money through pop bottle donations, which sounds crazy.
Well,
but we are doing that too.
That is serious. If you have people who, so how do the pop bottle donations work? Do we drop off our pop bottles to Roosevelt?
So the address for the nonprofit, I actually put the sign right in the yard, and it's to drop off the donations of pop bottles, and then we'll just take them back. There's a couple of different members of the committee that are doing that. I just happen to be doing it as well.
Yeah. How many people on the committee, or how many people are working on this project with you?
Oh my goodness. So I can probably name 17 people.
So a pretty sizable amount.
Yeah. And then there's other members of the community that kind of choose to stand back and just whatever I can do to help, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, and sometimes they turn it down. They don't have time to help in certain ways, and that's understandable.
And the local government in Kego Harbor, I think, is on your side, correct?
So I think in the beginning, if they had been a little bit more present and reached out to the school board in a bigger way and offered maybe, I just don't think they were as big, or they didn't think they were as big as they are in this. Meaning that they probably felt defeated before they started, because it takes a lot of money to do projects, and where are we going to get the help, and we're not that big of a community.
It's always harder to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm learning that.
Yeah.
I'm learning that. So Kego Harbor's kind of always been referred to as the redheaded stepchild. I don't know if you've
I didn't
ever
know that. I didn't know that.
And I understand it because, well, first of all, I come from a split home, and I understand where that comes from. Some people may not know what that's like, but I do. So I have this inside me already to fight.
Yeah.
To fight for what's right, no matter who tells you, this is the correct way, you should be doing it this way, you're not doing it right. That's kind of what it feels like. And so when you are coming from that just small voice, I want to say, and finding other people that are willing to do it with you, that gives you more initiative to just be like, This is the best. The right
when
thing.
you're the underdog, but
Yes.
then you have other people who join forces with you. That's a good feeling.
So all that to say that the people that are in this fight really do have the best interest of the community at heart.
Well, tell us, what do you, in an ideal world, Roosevelt Elementary doesn't get demolished. So what do you see happening with that building?
I would love it to be a multi-use community building. So I'm thinking lofts or housing, because it would make an awesome place to have a house. Nice big ceilings, big hallways. There's
yes,
an
that's
elevator.
right, the tall ceilings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's multifunction ability. You can do the second floor could be like retail spaces, and then where you're going to have more and more people as far as like coming in and doing events on that first floor.
And it's right across from the water, so that's an
is.
attraction.
Yep. So we used to have the playground, which was community built on the property, which brought a lot of people in off school hours.
Yes, the playground.
So if we could go back to recreating that sense of community outside on the same property, that would be awesome.
You were telling me, well, they have what is the project in Pontiac we were talking about?
Micah 6. So Micah 6 is a nonprofit community development corporation.
Okay.
And they actually, I think they ended up getting sold the building from the Pontiac School District, which was a blessing for them.
Oh.
But it needed a lot of work. It was in pretty bad shape. Nowhere near the issues. Roosevelt was perfect in my opinion. There was some maintenance issues that should have been taken care of, but the Webster building, it needs a complete overhaul.
Yeah.
And the community nonprofit there reached out to churches. Hey, can you help us clean this up? Reached out to other nonprofit organizations. Are you interested in coming and being a part of what we're doing here? We're going to have, health, maybe like, I don't even remember what the things were, but they all serve the community.
Yeah.
So it will end up being a transportation hub, so that, because it's right on M59.
Yes.
So that the buses can stop and take people to and from work or from school. And the community right now is doing that just in a different way.
It seems like a win-win situation.
Oh yeah, they have a community garden. I actually found Micah 6 because I was traveling around as a home health nurse.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I saw Coleman, who's the founder of that nonprofit, outside digging in the garden bed. And I said, what are you guys doing here? Because this is really cool.
Yes.
I mean, you're out here in the city, in the dirt, look like you're doing something that's bringing people together. Because here I am stopping to
That
say what's
is
up.
really cool.
Yeah. And he told me what he was doing. This was way before they had secured Webster, actually. They didn't have like the big plans in place that they do now.
Yeah.
But so that was like 12 years in the making for them.
Wow.
To get here.
And didn't you told me that there's a similar project in Detroit?
So yeah, Life Remodeled, Chris Lambert, he actually has done this with buildings in Detroit, turn them into one-stop hubs for the community where they can come and get, say, like martial arts or something like that.
Yeah.
Some educational programs, things that benefit the community. Whatever the community needs are
Right.
is what that community center would become. So, and working with multiple organizations, not just one, helps support for funding. So, well, you don't really have enough money. Where's your revenue? You know, how can you do all this? Well, you work with other organizations, you secure grants. That's how you get the funding.
I think I was reading that didn't some developers actually step in and say, we'll buy Roosevelt and we'll develop it?
Yeah. Yeah, we had a couple of offers. We had a $1.7 million offer. I think the latest one was a $2 million offer. And I think that we would probably dig even further and find more if we knew that the school district would actually entertain developing it.
Yeah.
But they seem so just, I want to say, bullheaded about the whole thing.
Do you have any support on the school board, on the West Bloomfield School Board? Or is
Actually, one of the members, well, before there was a recent election, we had a couple of members on the board, Deborah Evans and Carol Finkelstein, who really showed us support in ways that they could.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially coming to the board discussions and saying, like, why this, why that, and how about this, and really engaging in conversations that saw other purposes for the building.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kirsten Douglas, she actually got voted in the last term in November.
Mm-hmm.
She is how I learned about Roosevelt in the first place. So she actually would have a voice for Roosevelt as well. I'm not sure, because I don't know necessarily how all that plays out behind closed doors
Yes.
with the board. But from my understanding, I mean, once they vote, then I don't know if certain new members have privy to information about what the plan was or where
Right.
we're going now.
Right.
I don't know.
And what about, I know that there is an appeal, and then appeal was recently argued in front of the Michigan Appellate Court legally, and legally, where is the battle right now?
So it's still, the opinions have not been completed. We went on February 5th, and both sides argued the Open Meetings Act violation that
And
occurred.
this is I think this is in the Michigan Court of Appeals, right? When you say we went?
Michigan Court of Appeals, but yeah, it's local.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so you guys argued about the Open Meetings Act?
Yes.
What was kind of the issue?
So the issue was when they've done this a couple times. So let me just say that the Open Meetings Act violation isn't just a one and done type thing that they've completed. There's been statutes of limitations that they've done this in the past that they just hadn't been called out on. But now with this current case, it's going back to, I believe, a March 19th board decision to award contracts to the abatement and demolition.
Yes, that's what I was reading.
Yeah.
And supposedly this was in violation of the Open Meetings Act,
Yes.
meaning people weren't invited to participate in this city hall session, or not city hall session, school board meeting?
It's more about them like just rubber stamping decisions.
Yeah.
And the problem with the Open Meetings Act is that you have to catch them on a violation within this 60-day statute. And that's where, when we're kind of, I hate to say this, but we were hoping they'd do it again because they'd done it in the past.
Yeah.
When they had voted to demolish Roosevelt at the September meeting, we were kind of like, oh, what the heck, what kind of recourse do we have? Because it just feels like you guys are just rubber stamping these decisions. And they came back with, we will still entertain ideas for Roosevelt. It's not over. Basically, it's not over until it's over. And so we thought we had some grace, that they were going to extend some time with members of the community to look into these, bids and see what was available. But really what they were trying to do was they were leading. They were saying, if you be quiet long enough, then we'll throw the wool over you and it'll be over with before you know it, hoping that we wouldn't fight back, essentially.
Yeah.
And then when we got, I guess, brave enough, we were like, no, we have to do something. So no one wants, I was saying, no one wants to go into litigation. No one wants to take it to court. No one wants to throw money at lawyers to try and do the right thing. I mean, you think that if it is truly the right thing, which I believe in my heart, saving this building and repurposing it and not throwing it in a landfill is the right thing to do, then you shouldn't have to waste thousands of dollars to get that done.
Right.
It should be what is good for the community, should be what is, and it's not just for Kego Harbor. It would also be a good thing for the West Bloomfield School District.
Excellent, yes.
It would make them look like...
Yes, because we don't have, I can't think of any kind of community centers out there.
We do, but nothing quite like this.
Yes.
Nothing that sits in the middle of our small city
Yeah.
that also would support Waterford,
Yes.
West Bloomfield, and bring in those kids that were coming from school of choice to a place that had what Roosevelt had,
Yeah.
which is the heart. It brought people from Pontiac, Waterford, Bloomfield Township, all these different areas together where people were like, you know what, I don't care what social background you come from.
Yes.
This is a united building, and that's what Roosevelt is.
Have you contacted anybody above the West Bloomfield School District? Like anybody in the state or?
So a few of us have reached out to attorney generals. I can't even remember some of the people that I wrote
The only
letters
reason
to.
I say that is because I went to Roosevelt and my classmate was Dana Nessel. So I'm not saying this is an issue
Yep.
she'd get involved with, but I'm saying she's a Roosevelt alumni.
She's been reached out
Yeah,
to. She
okay.
I think her response was something like, I can't really get involved.
I know, it's a real local issue,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't know exactly what the reason is why certain branches are so siloed and they can't really help.
I don't either.
I wrote the president. I know that sounds insane.
No.
But at this point, there's really nothing left to lose. So I wrote the president, I wrote the governor. Yeah.
It seems like the historical preservation aspect might be something worth pursuing. I have no idea what that involves and how lengthy the process is, but you can look at the building and there's something special about the architecture of that building.
Yeah. So the original architect is the Fisher brothers, and then the other architect involved is actually one of Henry Ford's favorite architects, Robert O'Derrick.
Oh, wow.
And his name is all over. It essentially sent me on a quest to understand the history of this man.
Yeah.
Because he had such a play in Roosevelt, and it was very interesting. So he's part of the architectural community of Grosse Pointe. All those big, beautiful brick buildings.
Yes, which is what Roosevelt is.
Yeah,
yes.
that's all under his umbrella of architecture. And we have the very first of its kind right in our city. And unfortunately, to them, it's not significant, which
Yeah.
it blows my mind.
It would be very sad to see it go. So I'm rooting for you guys, and
Thank
I'm really
you.
grateful for
Thank
you,
you.
to you for coming on today. What's your nonprofit called?
It's Heart of the Lakes Community Nonprofit.
Heart of the Lakes Community Nonprofit. Do you have a website or no?
We do.
Okay,
Yep.
what's the website?
It's www.heartofthelakeescommunity.weebly.com.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a Weebly site.
Okay.
And then we also have link trees, and we're on Facebook. We have
Yeah,
all
so
kinds
if
of things.
anybody is moved by this show, or anybody drives by the school and wants to support your cause, probably if they just Google Roosevelt Elementary, that'll
Yes.
take them to the right sites and see if they can get involved.
Yes, I would be honored to have people come and check it out and give some insight. There's a lot going on where I don't even think we could cover
Yeah.
everything that was happening. But yeah, if you get on there, you can learn more about the environmental concerns and other issues that involve the city as
We
well.
might have a minute to talk about the environmental concerns.
Okay. Yeah, so when we were learning about the demolition process, we were wondering why the abatement bids were so low.
Yeah.
Because we had forwarded some information and found that there was quite a bit of asbestos that would have to come out in order to safely demolish the building. So you can encapsulate asbestos and put it to rest behind walls and things like that. It doesn't have to be disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
The only way that it's unsafe is if it's disturbed. As you can imagine, demolition is going to cause a lot of disturbance.
Yes.
So we said, well, why is the bid for the abatement so low? And they're like, well, we just chose the cheapest contractor. When we looked into it, not only did they choose the cheapest contractor, their amount of asbestos that they're claiming is needing to be removed is only 17% of the total of asbestos that they believe is in the building. So we're looking at a bid for 9,300 square feet when the total should have been somewhere around 65,000 square feet.
Wow.
So if you're going to demolish the building,
Yes.
it needs to be done properly, and you can't be going on the cheapest, the skating by with just doing 17% of the asbestos removal.
Right.
So that brought in some problems with Eagle as far as my group is concerned, because how is Eagle just rubber stamping these permits to okay the asbestos removal without knowing how much is in there? They're just going to take it at face value that this is how much is in there and this is how much they're going to award a permit for. And so that was another problem. We actually had Eagle come out. Their recommendation was to clean up all the asbestos, and there was a certain phrase that they used. It would be in your best interest, basically, to take out all the asbestos before you demolish this building.
Wow.
Yeah.
To be continued. Thank you.
Right.
Jennifer, thank you so
You're
much for
welcome.
coming
Thank
on.
you.
Viewers, thank you for joining in and tuning in. And again, if you're interested in getting involved in this with this gem in Kiko Harbor, go ahead and Google Roosevelt Elementary, and it'll
If
lead you to Jennifer and
If you
also
Google how to save a historic building from demolition, you'll find us.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Jennifer, thank you so
Thank you.
much. Audience, thank you for tuning in to APN Play, and we will see you next time.